Life is a tapestry woven with threads of joy and sorrow, love and loss, moments of triumph and times of despair. Each thread, each experience adds to the complexity and beauty of our existence. Pleasure and pain. We yearn for happiness, yet we often find ourselves caught in a cycle of dissatisfaction, clinging to fleeting moments of pleasure while pushing away the inevitable waves of discomfort. This duality is a fundamental part of the human experience. Buddhist philosophy, rooted in the teachings of the historical Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, offers a profound understanding of the human condition and a path to liberation from this cycle of suffering. It provides insights into the nature of our minds and the causes of our distress. At the heart of Buddhist thought lies the recognition that suffering arises from within. It is not the external circumstances that bind us, but our internal reactions to them. Our desires, attachments, and aversions are the seeds of our own discontent. These mental states create a never-ending cycle of craving and aversion. We crave what we lack, always seeking something more, something better, cling to what we have, fearing its loss, and push away what we find unpleasant, trying to avoid pain at all costs. This constant grasping and resisting creates a state of inner turmoil, preventing us from experiencing true peace and contentment. It keeps us trapped in a cycle of suffering, unable to find lasting happiness. Just as a lotus flower emerges from the mud, pure and radiant, Buddhist teachings show us that it is possible to find peace and happiness even amidst the challenges of life. The mud represents our struggles, but it also nourishes the lotus, allowing it to bloom. By understanding the nature of our own minds and cultivating wholesome qualities, we can break free from the cycle of suffering and live with greater ease, wisdom, and compassion. This journey towards inner peace is a gradual process, but with dedication and practice, it is within our reach. Over 2,500 years ago, in the foothills of the Himalayas, a young prince named Siddhartha Gautama embarked on a journey that would change the course of history. Born into a life of privilege and luxury, Siddhartha was shielded from the harsh realities of the world. However, driven by a deep yearning to understand the true nature of life, he renounced his royal life and set out on a spiritual quest. For years, Siddhartha studied under renowned teachers and practiced rigorous meditation, determined to find a way to end suffering. Finally, after 49 days of deep contemplation under a Bodhi tree, he attained enlightenment, becoming the Buddha, the awakened one. The Buddha's awakening was not a mystical experience reserved only for saints and sages. It was a profound realization of the nature of reality and the potential for liberation that exists within each one of us. Through his teachings, the Buddha shared this wisdom with the world, offering a path to freedom from suffering that is accessible to all. The foundation of Buddhist philosophy rests upon the Four Noble Truths, which serve as a guiding light for those seeking enlightenment and inner peace. The Buddha likened these truths to a physician diagnosing an illness and prescribing a cure. These truths are: the truth of suffering or dukkha. Life inevitably involves suffering, from the physical pain of illness and old age to the mental anguish of loss, disappointment, and dissatisfaction. This suffering is a universal experience that touches every life. The truth of the cause of suffering, or samudaya suffering, arises from our own minds, from our craving, clinging, and aversion. These mental states create a cycle of desire and dissatisfaction that perpetuates our suffering. The truth of the cessation of suffering, or nirodha. It is possible to end suffering by uprooting its cause. This cessation is not just a temporary relief, but a profound and lasting peace. The truth of the path to the cessation of suffering, or magga. The path to liberation is the Eightfold Path, a set of principles that guide us toward right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Each step on this path is a practice in itself, leading us closer to enlightenment. The Four Noble Truths are not meant to be pessimistic or nihilistic. Instead, they offer a realistic assessment of the human condition and a hopeful path forward. Rather, they are a call to awaken to the reality of suffering so that we can be motivated to find a way out of it. This awakening is the first step toward true freedom and happiness. By understanding the cause of our suffering, we can begin to cultivate the qualities that lead to liberation. Through mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom, we can transform our lives and the lives of those around us. The Eightfold Path is not a rigid set of rules but rather a dynamic and interconnected set of principles that support our spiritual growth and lead us toward greater wisdom, compassion, and peace. It serves as a guide to help us navigate the complexities of life with a sense of purpose and direction. Each aspect of the path informs and supports the others, creating a holistic approach to living a meaningful and fulfilling life. This interconnectedness ensures that our practice is balanced and comprehensive, addressing all facets of our existence. Right understanding. Cultivating a clear and accurate understanding of the Four Noble Truths and the nature of reality. This foundational wisdom helps us see things as they truly are, free from delusion and ignorance. Right thought. Engaging in thoughts that are kind, compassionate, and conducive to inner peace and well-being. Our thoughts shape our actions and our reality, making it crucial to nurture positive and wholesome thinking. Right speech, speaking in ways that are truthful, kind, and beneficial to ourselves and others. Our words have the power to heal or harm, so mindful communication is essential. Right action, acting in ways that are ethical, skillful, and aligned with our values. Our actions reflect our inner state and have a profound impact on the world around us. Right livelihood, earning a living in a way that does not harm ourselves or others. Choosing a profession that supports our spiritual goals and contributes positively to society is vital. Right effort, cultivating wholesome qualities and abandoning unwholesome ones. This involves a continuous and diligent effort to improve ourselves and our actions. Right mindfulness, paying attention to the present moment with openness, curiosity, and non-judgment. Mindfulness helps us stay grounded and fully engaged in our lives. Right concentration, developing a focused and stable mind through meditation and other contemplative practices. This mental discipline allows us to achieve deeper states of awareness and insight. By integrating these principles into our daily lives, we can gradually transform our minds and hearts, creating the conditions for lasting peace and happiness. The Eightfold Path offers a timeless and practical framework for personal and collective transformation. Right understanding, the first aspect of the Eightfold Path, is essential for setting us on the path to liberation. It involves developing a deep and accurate understanding of the Four Noble Truths, the interconnectedness of all things, and the impermanent nature of reality. When we see the world through the lens of right understanding, we begin to recognize the impermanence of all phenomena. We realize that everything is in a constant state of flux, and that clinging to fleeting pleasures or resisting inevitable changes only leads to suffering. This understanding helps us to cultivate non-attachment, a key quality for finding peace and contentment in a constantly changing world. Cultivating mindfulness in daily life. Right mindfulness, the seventh aspect of the Eightfold Path, is often described as the heart of Buddhist practice. It involves paying attention to the present moment with openness, curiosity, and non-judgment, without getting carried away by thoughts of the past or worries about the future. Mindfulness can be cultivated through formal meditation practices, as well as informal practices that we can incorporate into our daily lives. Whether we are eating, walking, working, or interacting with others, we can bring a quality of mindfulness to each moment, noticing our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. By cultivating mindfulness, we become more aware of our own minds and how our thoughts, feelings, and actions create our experiences. This awareness gives us greater choice in how we respond to challenges, allowing us to break free from habitual patterns of reactivity and cultivate greater peace and equanimity. The power of compassion and loving kindness. Compassion and loving kindness, or metta, are central to Buddhist teachings. Compassion is the ability to understand and share in the suffering of others, while loving kindness is the wish for all beings to be happy and free from suffering. These qualities are not merely sentimental emotions, but rather powerful forces that can transform our relationships with ourselves and others. When we cultivate compassion and loving kindness, we begin to see the interconnectedness of all beings. We realize that we are not separate from others but rather part of a web of life in which our well-being is intimately tied to the well-being of all. Practicing compassion and loving kindness involves cultivating a sense of empathy and understanding for others, even those who have harmed us. It involves letting go of anger, resentment, and judgment, and instead offering kindness, forgiveness, and support. The transformative journey within. The path to liberation outlined in Buddhist teachings is not a passive process but rather an active and transformative journey. It requires effort, dedication, and a willingness to look deeply within ourselves to uproot the causes of our own suffering. The journey may be challenging at times, but the rewards are immeasurable. As we cultivate wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness, we begin to experience a profound sense of inner peace, freedom, and joy. Living a life of purpose and meaning. Buddhist teachings offer a profound and practical guide to living a life of purpose and meaning. By understanding the nature of suffering, cultivating wholesome qualities, and developing wisdom and compassion, we can break free from the cycle of dissatisfaction and create a life filled with greater peace, happiness, and fulfillment. The journey begins with a single step, a moment of mindfulness, an act of kindness. As we continue to practice, we gradually transform ourselves and the world around us, creating a more just, compassionate, and peaceful world for all.